Good morning. We're here with Crystal Icenhour, PhD, so Dr. Crystal, and CEO of Aperiomics. Crystal, it's very nice to be here.
Great to be here
with you today. Tell us about your company a little bit. How did you start and what do you guys do?
Aperiomics is very mission-driven, so we are focused on advancing healthcare through better infection testing. And I got started when I had sold my first company, and I reached out to a colleague of mine at Virginia Bio and asked him if he knew anyone who was looking for a chief executive officer or a chief scientific officer. And the first thing he said was, "Do you know Keith Crandall?" And I said, "No, I don't." And so he connected us, and Keith is a professor at George Washington University, and he had this really great idea, he and his team of co-founders, to use software to identify infection. And so they recruited me up from Charlottesville, and I joined the team to help them take this really great idea and turn it into something that had real market and real clinical utility.
So that is how you got connected to...
Yes.
What in the mission made you feel like part of it that you said, yes, I want to be involved with this company?
So my background is in infectious disease. So I've studied infectious diseases for much of my career. I was trained as a medical researcher studying fungal disease. And I knew that leaving academia was something I needed to do because it didn't really suit my skill set. And so I started my first company focused on intestinal parasites in Charlottesville. And the opportunity to work with Keith and my other co-founders was an opportunity to work with all infectious diseases. So our technology...
Expand also.
Yes, so our technology, we were able to screen patient samples for nearly 40,000 microorganisms in each sample. So every known bacterium, virus, parasite, and fungus in each sample we test. So it was really the opportunity of a lifetime to do something no one else has been able to do before.
That is so wonderful. What kind of feedback are you getting from those who have been using your services?
We get great feedback. It's not unusual for us to get flowers, or we got an edible arrangement from one of our patients.
Yes.
Because
you save them from pain and from...
Yes. Unfortunately, many of the patients we work with have been sick for very long times. Some of them have been sick for decades.
Because sometimes it's so hard to identify, right? What is wrong with you? What is not functioning in your body, right? Yes.
Well, and that's because the existing tests look for things one at a time, or a few things at a time. So, you'll go to your doctor and your throat hurts, and they'll say, "Oh, that sounds like strep throat." So they swab your throat and test for strep. And if it's positive, they can give you an appropriate treatment. But what if it's negative? Your throat still hurts, you're still sick, but what do they do then? So instead of looking for things one at a time, we screen for everything that's known, so the doctor has the best information to determine the best next steps.
That is probably key in solving some of these unknown or unidentified issues with patients. Who is your number one competitor? Is there someone in the space that is doing something similar to you?
There are a few groups that are doing something similar. There's a group called MicroGenDx, there's a group called Carius, and there's a group called ID by DNA. They're doing something that's similar, but no one is doing something as comprehensive as what we're doing. So some of them can only look for bacteria, some of them can only look in blood. We look for everything that's known in any type of a sample: blood, urine, fecal, plasma, any type of a sample.
So you're holistic in your approach to identify,
yes,
the Lyme issue. What is your biggest accomplishment today? The thing that you're the most proud of? There may be some. So
there's a lot.
There's a lot. Yes.
I think one of the biggest accomplishments we do every day is we help patients who are sick and no one can figure out why. And it doesn't happen every time, but sometimes, a lot of the times, we're able to identify what's wrong with the patient. So, the patient in West Virginia who was diagnosed with Lyme disease, but as it turns out, we figured out she had tuberculosis.
Quite different, right?
Very different. The 3-year-old girl
was she being treated for Lyme disease?
She was treated for Lyme disease, and the treatment failed. And so, fortunately, her doctor had learned about our testing and sent us a blood sample, and we were able to get, a complete and a more accurate answer. The 3-year-old girl who had a urinary tract infection that was culture negative, she was on a path to having her bladder removed because she was in terrible pain. We were able to identify the bacteria that won't grow in culture that caused her urinary tract infection, and now she's completely healed.
This can be life-saving too,
yes.
right? Yes.
Yes, so those are our biggest accomplishments, those times when we can help a patient take a completely different course than they're on.
Yeah, it's very honorable and beautiful what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yes. What are your primary customers right now? Who are the companies that are, or perhaps like health institutions that are buying into?
Yeah, so most of our customers are patients. They learn about our testing through social media, and they come to us and are seeking help. And so we help them become educated about what our test is and if it's appropriate for them, and then we give them the material they need to take it to their doctor so that their doctor can determine if this is the best test and then place the order, and then we work to support the doctor throughout the whole process. So that's our primary customer, but we also have customers in clinics that use us to test all their patients. We have customers overseas. We've done work in 20 countries. We have customers that are pharmaceutical companies that we do testing for, very large pharmaceutical companies. We've done testing in animals, plants, environmental samples. Really, it's almost endless, the customer base that we can apply the technology to.
Yeah, it's almost the whole population if you think about it.
Yes.
Yes. Are you seeking for capital at this point, or are you self-sustaining? Where are you at in the financing game?
Yes, we are self-sustaining. However, we are looking to get insurance coverage over this next year. So I am raising capital at the moment to keep pushing and keep generating the data and get in front of the insurance payers. This is one of those rare cases where everyone can actually win. The patient can finally get better. The doctor can help this patient get out of their waiting room, and the insurance company stands to save hundreds of thousands of dollars on these very chronic cases that we work on. And the beauty is no one had to sacrifice on the quality of care. They got better care than they would otherwise. So we're now in a position where we want to present that mission and that vision to the payers, the Medicares and the private insurance companies, to get their buy-in so that our patients can run this through their insurance. So far, we've been on the market for 3 years, and most of our patients pay out of pocket to do our testing.
What is the timeline, you think, for getting everybody on board?
Tomorrow would be great.
Right now.
Yes. I'm hoping within the next 12 months we will be able to announce a positive response from Medicare. The moment we can say we accept Medicare, the floodgates open.
Absolutely.
So yes, we are fundraising at the moment.
Yeah, you're getting to be in touch with many more patients that perhaps would want to do it today, and they can.
Yes. Well, and instead of, right now most of our patients are in this chronic phase where they've been sick for sometimes decades. And instead of allowing patients to come to that point, we really need this to be the first line of defense. So instead of that, urine culture negative patient becoming, a chronically ill patient, let's figure out what's causing the urinary tract infection and get it treated before they end up on Percocet.
We even escalate to that point.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. So about CONNECTpreneur, I know you've been to the events. Have you presented to the events before?
I have. I've actually presented 3 times.
Yes, I saw you. I remember. So tell us of your experience. How was it? And what value you think CONNECTpreneur brought to you?
CONNECTpreneur has been a great resource for me. Tian is a huge supporter of what we do. And the group that he assembles, it's such a high quality group. The people that are there are genuinely interested in the technologies and genuinely interested in, being part of funding these technologies. So I was able to secure, I believe it's 6 individual investors through the presentations I gave at CONNECTpreneur.
That's very good. Yes.
So it's been a wonderful opportunity for me, and I always recommend people take advantage of presenting at the events.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Crystal. I love learning about Aperiomics, and you really have a truly important mission.
Great.
And I wish you so much the best.
Thank you.
Very excited. Thank you.